Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm going to share with you about how I first got introduced to the Contemplative Pathway and how it has enriched my relationship with God. During the first half of my Christian life, I was most comfortable with the intellectual pathway. I am naturally a head person, I have a science background, and I'm just drawn to digging into the scriptures, and it's just a natural fit for me. But prayer, on the other hand, has always been a struggle for me. I'm just much more comfortable relating to God with my mind than with my heart. It wasn't until life started to become more unmanageable for me that I started searching for a different way of relating to God. There was a period in my life where I was just plagued by one traumatic event after another. I was having a really hard time coping. I started having panic attacks, and I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. My life felt like I was in constant survival mode. I couldn't focus. I wasn't eating or sleeping well. And though I hungered for God, I just didn't have any words to pray. My traditional quiet times weren't cutting it. It was just a really dark time in my life. But fortunately, I heard of this place called Rivendell, and it's a retreat center on Bowen Island that is rooted in Christian contemplative practice. It became a sacred space for me to go where I could just get away from it all, get rest, hang out with God with no agenda whatsoever. Up to that point in my life, I had always seen God as more of a teacher and a judge than as a father and a friend. And there was something about Rivendell that gave me permission to start opening myself up and considering these other aspects of God's nature. As I started to learn more about contemplative prayer, my mindset about God started to change. There was something very profound and connecting for me about contemplative prayer, being in the stillness and quiet and being surrounded by the beauty of God's creation. I started to actually experience God's love within myself. And this was a radical shift for me because I was used to just knowing facts about God. Um, I used to only think of prayer as me speaking words to God, whether verbally or in my head, and God speaking to me through the Bible. And contemplative prayer moved me beyond thoughts and words and emotions and opened up both my mind and my heart to God. I started to become more conscious of God's presence in my life. Scriptures like pray without ceasing and be still and know that I am God started to make more sense and become really important to me. Contemplative practices have really helped my intimacy with God to grow, which was something that I had always wanted and never seemed to be able to manifest. Through centering prayer, I learned how to just sit in God's presence, open myself up, and trust that He was going to show up and do something in me, meet some kind of need, which was really good for me because I'm disconnected a lot of the time and I don't know what I need half the time. So, through welcoming prayer, I've learned to become aware of the things that get in the way of me experiencing God's love and grace, such as how attached I am to my own way of thinking and to my desire for control and security and the esteem of others. Welcoming prayer teaches me how to let go and to bring God into whatever I am experiencing and to accept the moment as it is because I know that God is in it with me. If closeness and friendship is something that you desire with God, I highly recommend that you try out some contemplative prayer practices and read up on contemplation. I pray that it will be as transformative to you as it has been for me in my life. Thanks so much for watching.